second video, as you can see, I've left it exactly where I've kind of finished off in the first one, created a small piece of land, and that's what we kind of focused on. On video 2, we're going to look at introducing our kudus. So again, just be very much aware, because pupils tend to forget this a lot, that when you're working along with your options or tools down the bottom, if you're trying to drag it around your screen, you have to be on the correct tool, or it won't work. Very, very simple. Again, always keep an eye on this wee thermometer on the right hand side. So let's put our character in. Now when we click to choose our kudu option, as always, this kind of tool pops up in the wee options information section, which is I'm going to add a selected object to our options. So right click gives me add object, change world settings, or paste, which will come to the world settings in a minute. But I'm going to left click and I'm going to begin to add in my item, so any item or character will appear here. So again, these will give you the option of going to subcategories. So if I just click tree, multiple trees I can put. So let's just start off with basic kind of item that we can place that really doesn't need to be programmed. So let's add that tree, and you can see it's rather large, but when we're on it, we can also hover over our tree and then use our arrow keys on our keyboard to change colours of our tree. We have also got the option of working with this tree, where if I hopefully you can maybe just see it, we've got left click to program it and right click to drag. So if I was to hold down my left click, I can drag it about, Right click, now we've got this program option, which is okay, but what I'm going to look at is actually the scale of it and this, how big this is. So I'm going to first of all change the size of that, then just drag this down a bit, so it looks maybe a bit more proportionate for that level. Right click again, and again you can mess about with these to rotate it and so on and so forth. Give it a wee spin, hit the cross, change the height, and lower it off the ground. And finally, with this, we've got our settings options. So if I just click change settings, we've got several parameters that work with this, so we can make it so it's unvulnerable, so that tree would never be able to be broken. Again, this is a lot of detail that we can go into a wee bit later on in this kind of series here. So just press escape on my keyboard, takes me back to our programming. So let's place in our kudu now. So if I was to put in one of my characters, so you've got from this section, a rover and a kudu, these are the kind of main ones we can program. So I'm going to put in the standard kudu, that's what the program's named after. And we're going to look at programming him. So if I was to press my play button, as is, I could spam my keyboard, mash away at it, and absolutely nothing happens. The only button that will work is our escape button. What I need to do is be on my kudu, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose to program him. But I'm going to first of all change his size, that way the world appears a lot larger for him. So let's zoom in so we can find him. So there he is, there. So right click, let's choose program. So it's when and do is how this operates. So if we want to currently be in, for instance, third person mode, which it is currently, it looks over our kudu, it will automatically just be do. That way it's constantly doing that task. So if I was to ignore the when, just choose do, view, I can change between first person mode and third person mode. So follow for third or first. So I like him in third person mode, so I'm going to keep that as follow, so it will always stay in third person mode. And then when I'm programming, it's when, at the plus, when I use my keyboard, and I press specifically the arrow keys, it's going to go do, it's going to move. And it's as simple as that. So it could be something additional, like for instance, when I press the keyboard and I press letter A, he is going to, let's see what we can make him do, shoot a missile for letter A. And one more time, when I use the keyboard and I press the letter D, so A and D, let's make him go to look, actions, let's just try glow, in fact let's try camouflage, that's quite cool. So when I press escape now to go back in to play the game, press the play button, I can then zoom in a wee bit more, roll my mouse wheel so I can see my character, use my arrow keys, begin to move, press letter A, big missile, so we can look at scaling that later on, and the letter D, it goes incognito and goes to invisible mode. So a lot of things we can do with this program's again, wee bit of kind of playing about, see what you can do, see what you can program and have fun with that. So come back for a part 3 video, so we'll take this a bit further, looking at programming a bit more, and look at programming potentially NPCs or non-playable characters, in the path they should follow.